It was a Friday night at the Langston estate, a mansion so large it could fit 10 homes inside it. The chandeliers glowed like captured stars, and laughter from rich men echoed through marble halls. Billionaire Charles Langston sat at the head of a long mahogany poker table, his rings gleaming under golden light. "Gentlemen," he said, swirling his whiskey, "tonight, I'm in the mood for entertainment." Around him sat other high society figures, bankers, investors, and politicians. Cards were shuffled, chips clicked, and jokes filled the air, the kind that always punched downward. Near the corner, quietly serving drinks, stood Amara, Charles's longtime maid, a hard-working black woman in her early 40s who had raised her only son, Eli, by herself after losing her husband. She worked nights and mornings, barely sleeping, just to keep him in school. Eli was 15, shy, observant, and brilliant beyond his years. He often helped his mother after school, polishing glasses and arranging trays. He loved puzzles, numbers, and logic games. But tonight, something unusual was about to happen. Amara. Charles's voice boomed across the room. She froze, tray trembling in her hands. "Yes, sir." Charles smirked. "Who's that boy hovering near the door?" "My son, sir. Eli." "Bring him here." Eli walked forward, nervous, unsure why the billionaire wanted him. Charles grinned at his guests. "Gentlemen, how about a little fun? Let's see if this young man can play a hand of poker." The men laughed. "Oh, come on, Charles, don't bully the poor kid. It's just a joke." Charles waved his hand. "Let's teach him how the rich play games." Eli's eyes darted to his mother. She looked terrified. "Sir, please. He doesn't know how to play." Charles interrupted. "Relax, Amara. It's just a game." The laughter continued. The chips stacked, and Eli sat down. The cards were dealt. Charles leaned back, amused. "So, Eli, you ever played before?" Eli quietly replied, "I've watched sometimes." "Then this should be easy," Charles said mockingly. "Just luck and guts, right?" But as the cards turned and the bets rose, something began to shift. Eli wasn't blinking. He wasn't nervous anymore. He was analyzing. He noticed every flicker, every twitch, every tiny hesitation in the men's movements. He tracked the rhythm of the cards, the discarded suits, and even the way Charles's ring finger tapped whenever he bluffed. In just a few rounds, the boy who was supposed to be a joke was winning. The guests leaned forward. Charles's grin slowly faded. This kid's got luck," one whispered. But it wasn't luck. It was pattern recognition, a mathematical instinct that few men on Wall Street could even dream of. Eli wasn't playing for money. He was playing to understand. Each move was a calculation. Each risk was a lesson. When Charles tried to outsmart him with a triple bluff, Eli called it instantly. "You're lying," he said softly. The room fell silent. "What did you say?" Eli repeated. "You're lying, sir. You have nothing in your hand." Charles revealed his cards and gasped. The boy was right. Charles Langston, a man who owned 5 companies, 3 yachts, and an ego the size of a mountain, had just been beaten by his maid's son. The room erupted in disbelief. Laughter, not the mocking kind anymore, but genuine shock and admiration. "Charles, you just got read by a kid." "Unbelievable." Charles forced a smile, but inside his pride burned. He dismissed everyone early, claiming he was tired. As the guests left, Amara approached timidly. "Sir, I'm sorry if Eli." "Get out," Charles said coldly. Her heart sank. But that night, alone in his study, Charles couldn't stop thinking about the boy's eyes, sharp, calm, focused. He replayed every move, every read, every word. That wasn't luck. That was genius. The next morning, Charles did something no one expected. He called for Amara. "Bring your son. I want to talk to him." Eli entered the office nervously. Charles sat behind his desk, watching him closely. "You humiliated me in front of my guests," Charles began. Eli lowered his eyes. "I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to." Charles raised a hand. "Don't apologize. You played fair. You saw what others didn't." He leaned forward. "Do you know what poker really is?" Eli shook his head. "It's not about cards. It's about people. About reading truth in lies, courage in fear. And last night, you read me like an open book." He stood up, pacing. "Tell me, Eli, what do you want to be when you grow up?" Ili hesitative. A mathematician, maybe a game designer. But we can't afford college. Charles was quiet for a long time. Then he said, you just earned yourself a scholarship. Full ride. Wherever you want to study. Ili mbrotse. His mother gasped. Charles smiled for the first time, a real smile. Consider it a debt repaid. You reminded me that brilliance doesn't wear a suit. Years passed. The story of the Maid's son who beat the billionaire became local legend. Eli went on to study mathematics and cognitive science at MIT, later joining a tech firm where his ideas revolutionized gaming strategy algorithms. One evening, he received a letter. It was from Charles Langston. It read, I once thought poker was about winning. You taught me it's about understanding people. Thank you for playing that night. Because you played the hand life gave you better than anyone I've ever known. Eli visited him one last time before Charles passed away. And as they sat in the same poker room where it all began, Charles whispered, looks like you finally won the biggest game of all, Eli, the game of life. Eli smiled gimply. No, sir. We both did. Respect has no price tag. Genius has no color.